With independenthomeschool.com. So this is a test. I'm going live regularly, and hopefully have some interaction, uh, comments, questions, that kind of stuff. But just on this test one, I wanted to address a question that was posed recently in Facebook about, let's say a 12 or 13-year-old boy. There were several of them, and usually it's boys, not doing their math work. They're sitting there dawdling. It's taking them, they could do it in a few minutes, and they take 20 minutes, 30 minutes to do a problem or two. So what's going on? And really, it's not so much what's going on, but what do you do about it? And I really want to teach you something about problem solving. So here's how problems work, okay? What we tend to do is we make a huge mistake. And the mistake is that we get really, really busy attacking the pain points, attacking the symptoms. It's like, got a brain tumor and here's some aspirin, and we think that's it. By the way, this does seem to be somewhat working, except it's under my logo. Someone said, "Hi, I'm great. Glad you're glad you're here." There we go. Yeah, so I says long time no see. So I'm trying to come back to life and see if Jody and I can serve everyone a little better. Back to problem solving. So here's the trick. You really don't want to try to attack the symptoms. The symptoms are things like, in this case, he's not doing his work. He's not focused. He's dawdling, right? And then you get, how do I treat the dawdling? And then you think, is it the problems? Is it too hard? Is it this thing? What you really want to do is set a goal that, if it's reached, will solve the problem. So the real goal is for this young man to do all of his work. Now here's the challenge. We have been hyper crazy psychologized in this world, going back to Freud and a lot of the mistaken notions he had. And most psychology has kind of figured that out now. Maybe defense mechanism stuff has some legitimacy, but most everything else is, on life support at best, held by the minority. And the reason is, the more you study this stuff, the more you can see that there's not really a lot of secret weird stuff going on in there. And our paranoia about, we're going to traumatize them if we do something wrong, we'll create problems for life. That's not really what's going on with humans. Humans are living in the moment with things they've learned or hadn't learned yet. And mostly with kids, especially before they get 14 or so, look, they're not thinking complex, equals MC squared type stuff. They're operating on a much more basic level. And if you can see that, you can work with it. When a kid is not doing his or her work, the reason they're not doing is they don't want to. Let me go over that again. The reason they're not doing it is they don't want to. So the game is to figure out how to get them to want to. And that's not really as difficult as we make it, except we get into some strange ideas about carrots and sticks, and all that's good and fine. But basically, it's about the structure around them. If you, I'll give you a weird example. If you wanted your child to stand up straight, okay, and you put signs up on the wall, stand up straight, stand for homeschool, you put eagles on it, the bold stand tall, and you gave them pep talks, and every day you had a little chapel session about standing up, and it was all about good posture and standing up. You could preach that message till you look blue in the face, but if your house has like 4-foot ceilings, they won't stand tall because they can't, because of the structure. So in this kind of thing with kids and doing their work, it's kind of like this. They need to be able to focus, and the environment can help them focus. And the way you do it is you set a time limit on how much they're going to do. Let's say you do math for an hour, and you figured out they should be able to do 10 problems easily. I'm just using numbers. So you got 10 problems in 1 hour. and it's a specific hour. And you say, go. If you want to put a timer out, we did that with our kids, worked quite well. Go. So they go. And then in 1 hour, stop. Just like they'll need to learn for testing someday, right? SAT and whatever, if it's still around then. So go and stop. Now, here's the trick. If they know that limit, they'll probably work pretty well with it, especially once they know it's for real. But when they stop, they have to stop. And what problems are left over, you move into the afternoon or later in the day as homework, preferably before they go play, for sure before they go to sleep. So you end that day or that session studying what they're supposed to, and then you end the day them having to done what they should have done. And if they don't get it done, I think you just start over and do the exact same lesson over the next day. 1 hour, they've already gone through the problems, so they ought to be familiar with them. 1 hour, get it done. If not, you'll get the rest of it done later. We're not going to drag this out and dawdle and keep working, because the goal is not to simply get you to do the problems. The goal is to get you to do the problems in an appropriate amount of time, to manage your time, to stay focused, to stay energetic, to get the work done. That's how it works. And so if you'll take that kind of approach, and there are dozens of others I could make up, but this one's pretty good because it's going to match how they have to do life. They'll have a job, and on their job, they need to get something done in a certain amount of time. We're opening the store in 30 minutes. We have to get all the things lined up to open the store. So go. That's how life works. Limits, deadlines generate focus. And that focus is what generates that kind of academic learning concentration you need from those kids. Plus, it's a boy especially, they have testosterone damage, or poisoning, I like to call it. And they should respond to a good challenge. Maybe not the first day, maybe not the second, but they'll start catching on if you work with it. The other thing I want to mention is, in my experience, usually these kind of problems with kids and homeschooling, you don't have both parents on board. So if you can make sure both are on board and they're both saying, look, you're going to get your schoolwork done, you're going to get it done in a timely fashion, and that's the game, and we love you, but our goal is to raise happy adults. We want you to be happy as a kid. That's a bonus, but we're trying to get you ready for life. And you're not going to get ready for life if you sit there and dawdle for an hour and do 2 problems. It's not going to work. So there's my little brief thought. If you have any questions, I don't know who's watching this or how it works exactly, but if you want to shoot a question, I'll give a pause for a moment. And, I know as I do these regularly, I'll get a better audience, but this will be a replay, etc. And I'm trying to do simultaneous game with YouTube and Facebook and wherever. So this is supposed to be streaming everywhere. I want to just make sure it works. So got other folks watching and smiley faces. That's good to hear. Any questions about parenting, homeschool, in that range, motivating kids, academics, how do you get them to learn? How do you set up systems? These are all the cool stuff we love to focus on. So this came out of a question. That's probably mostly what I like to do. I like to understand a question, look at the pieces, and figure out a goal that if we reach it, so the goal would be for you to do the right amount of math problems in the right amount of time. And you may have to adjust that. Maybe you have too many problems. Maybe you have too few. But you want an appropriate challenge, and stick with that frame so they can learn how to manage their time. So anyway, it's truly been awesome. This is just a first run at it, just an experiment. Glad some of y'all saw it. And I'll figure out how to do this regularly. Probably set a regular time, and probably hang out for about an hour and share, a number of different things. Anyway, hope you have a great day.